Hello, hello, and welcome. Thank you for joining me. We're going to talk about humor and why humor is seriously so important. You know, the ego, the conditioned mind, we'll say the survival mechanisms find everything terribly important, terribly serious. And when you are in the egoic state of consciousness, you'll notice that the littlest things are overblown. You know you're in that egoic state of consciousness when you feel a sense of self-importance. Isn't that a paradox? Because of course you are very important, but it's really where the ego likes to really hook in and have you identify with your mind, with your body, with the world, whether it's your finances, your profession, your title, your gender. And it really shines a light on you of criticism and self-judgment. So it's a paradox because the ego has this inflated sense of self-importance, of every little thing you do being terribly important. You know, it's like, oh, did you say that? Oh, are you wearing that shirt again? Oh my gosh. Did you say the wrong thing? Did you do the wrong thing? Did you make the right investment choice? What do people think of you? What do you think of yourself? It's very serious. It takes the tiniest little things and makes them terribly, terribly serious. So, can you look back at everything you've ever said, everything you've ever done in your life, and have humor in it? Can you be light about things and not have this overinflated sense of pressure to be, do, act a certain way, as though every little word, every thought you have ever thunk is so important. Oh, did I think a bad thought? Was I unkind? Was I nice enough? Was I too nice? This whole big self-image is a big egoic game, so to speak. And it will keep you in that game unless you can really embrace and invite a little bit of lightness and a little bit of humor into everything. So it is a paradox because, of course, you are the most special thing in existence. You are the most important thing. You are incredibly important. But the trick or the game with the ego is it takes everything of importance and it makes it into a criticism, a harshness. It's like a giant parent over you making things very serious. Did you do this? Did you do that? Is this good enough? Is that good enough? Whether it's how you look, how you act, what you do, how you do it, notice where there's harshness and seriousness, because that harshness is not you. It's not your true self. It's not your heart. It's not your essence. It's all that conditioning. And of course, it was created as survival. The ego is really about survival, separation. And so it will cling on for dear life. So, as much as you can invite humor into your life, not taking yourself so serious. I mean, let's put it into perspective. Take a look at maybe somebody else. It could be somebody on TV, somebody you know who's really successful, who's really full of themselves in that way. And how do you perceive that? It's kind of funny to watch someone else who has this big facade, who needs to project how important they are, right? Well, that's what the ego tends to do to us. And the real kicker of this is when you are in that, when you are buying into that state of consciousness, instead of making you feel the true importance that you are, that true boundless, beautiful, amazing self that you, of course, you are, it makes you feel small, meek, meager, maybe ashamed or guilty or embarrassed, not good enough. So the very thing that tries to make everything about you so important actually chips away at your radiance, at your enjoyment. So it is such a funny little game because as it's making you so important, everything about you so important, it's making you feel smaller and smaller and smaller, unworthy, afraid to just have fun and be yourself. So that's where humor comes in. So I invite you to take yourself lightly with a little humor. And as you have humor within yourself, you can have humor within others instead of taking, we'll say, maybe others' certain reactions or behaviors or words or whatever so serious. So when you see somebody coming projecting that I'm so important attitude, you can kind of chuckle on the inside because it's just that ego trying to play these games and get you to buy into it. So let's not take it too seriously. You definitely, absolutely, 100% deserve to feel light and free, and really feeling light and free without all this over importance, pressure, judgment. That's who you really are. So feel into that and welcome it more and more. Thank you for joining me today. Namaste.